welcome back to Body Positive Pilates. So this is the first video I've done in a really long time, besides all the Zoom classes and recordings. It's been quite an adjustment, taking everything from live classes to online classes. And yeah, I thought, why not give everyone a bit of a workout, a free workout to do at home. This is sort of what we did in class yesterday, something very similar, just a few minutes shorter, so that you can get a quick, efficient workout in at home. It focuses a lot of core and there's quite a bit of glute work involved. So I hope you are ready and just enjoy it with me. Alright, we'll be starting sitting just like we are. I'm just going to shift back so that I can get onto the center of my mat. There we go. And all we're going to do is just let the palms face up towards the ceiling. Let the shoulders draw away from the ears. We want to feel as if our humerus is being tractioned out of that shoulder joint. You can just go ahead and close your eyes. We are going to bring our attention to your breath. Now you can breathe in whichever way feels most comfortable for you. If you need to inhale and only exhale once your body needs to, you can do it that way. If you want to try a box breathing method, so for 4 counts breathing in, pause for 4, exhale for 4 counts, and then pause for another 4, you can do it that way. So whichever breathing technique agrees with you most, you can choose to do that, just to bring our attention from our surroundings, just bringing that, focusing it in on our body. Alright, we're going to start with a little bit of a roll down. So I'm just going to turn around to the side, but all you need to do is just drop the head down, the chin to the chest, and just bone by bone, just sink into a little ball. And then on the way up, as if you are building Lego blocks, just stack one block on top of the other until the head comes up last. We're going to do a few of these. You can use your breath, so you can exhale and round, and then inhale and build the spine back up. So yesterday we did this in standing, using our pole in our hands for that weight that sort of gives you that feedback or that pulling feeling on the way down, and then your body has to work a little bit harder to bring your weight all the way back up. So this is just a similar movement in seated, but without the pole in the hands. So from here on, when we inhale and when we come up, we can bring our arms up next to the sides of our body. And when we exhale, we can circle them down and around. Like your angry cat, we're going to draw our belly button back, round our spine. And from there on, I want you to reach the chest forward and the arms come into a chest expansion, a thoracic extension. And then forward, fold down into that little ball again. And inhale, bring the arms to the side, up and around. Let's go again. Exhale, circle the arms around the spine. Breathe in, come into that chest expansion, thoracic extension. And then forward fold on the exhale. And breathe in and come back to seated. We'll do 2 more of these. So exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And inhale, bring it back up. We'll go for 1 more. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. And then bring it back up. Alright. From here, we'll come into our rollback, so you can move onto the front edge of your mat. Make sure you are sitting comfortably. We've got a nice long back, we've got a broad chest, and we are reaching up through the crown of the head. From here on, we want to tuck our tailbone under If you want to do a few warm-up repetitions with your hands behind your thighs, you are welcome to. So let's go ahead, tuck in your tail, round your spine, and if you have your hands reaching forward until your fingertips more or less reach the knees, and then you'll draw that belly button further backwards and upwards and come back to sitting. Let's go again, tucking those sitting bones in underneath you, roll back. Keep drawing the belly button inwards and upwards, and then on the exhale, allow yourself to come back to sitting. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, roll back. Breathe in, hold. Exhale, come back to sitting, and we'll do 2 more. Just normal ones like this before we start adding a few variations. So just taking it back, bringing it up. Let's go for our last one before we start adding some rotation. So on this next one, when we come back, you roll back like you normally would with your previous exercise, and then open your right arm to the side and back. Have your head going along with you, looking at your fingertips. Bring it back up and back to sitting. Other way, so roll it back once you've reached your furthest point. Go ahead, twist and open, follow your hand with your eyes. Bring it back to center and lift back to sitting. Here we go, other side. Let's do it again. And center. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll back. We're going to go for another 2 to each side after this one. So keep tucking that tail underneath you, getting that C curve in the base of your spine. And let's go the last one to the other side. Now, like we are rowing on the river, we're going to row with our arms. So coming back, we'll row and circle back up to the other side. Row and circle back up. We go 6, up, 5, up, roll, tuck, come center, and tuck, come center, last 4, and 3, coming in for our last 2, follow those hands with eyes, and 1, bring it back up. We're going to do one more variation. So you're going to come, roll back, reach the arms, thumbs up, so thumbs behind you, bring it to center, and lift, and tuck, lift, lower, and up. We go 6, lift, lower, and up, 5, and down, and up, 4, and up, and down, and up, last 3, and down, up, 2, and down, up, 1 more tuck, roll, lift, in, and up, and roll all the way down. You're going to adjust yourself to get to the center of your mat. We've done a little bit of lower ab work and then also upper back work. We want to focus a little bit on the upper abs, all right, upper abdominals. So from here on, you're going to place your hands behind the base of your skull. You can interlace your fingers if you wish to. Your elbows should be still seen in your peripheral vision. Feet are more or less hip width apart. Let's just do a few pelvic tilts to get that pelvis into neutral. So you can just go ahead, let the sitting bones press towards the floor, and then pull the sitting bones back towards you. So think about lengthening that space between the chest bone and the pubic bone, and then bring that back and connect those 2 points together. On the next one, I want you to just find that middle position. So we are connecting the pubic bone and the chest bone without going into a posterior tilt. We just want to stay in that neutral and then keep the ribs drawing in towards your mat. On the next exhale, let's go ahead and lift our shoulders away from the floor and then breathe in and lower back down. So we are taking it slow, a little bit slow, just to get some deeper work in those muscles. So let's go for our last 4 and down. Exhale, lift and lower. Another 3, down, 2. Last one over here, hold it. We're going to bring our right leg into a tabletop and lower. So it's very simple, scissors over here, but still keeping those shoulders lifted to keep the abdominals active. Let's go for another 4, 3, 2, and on this last one we'll hold it up here, lift the other side, and we're going to come into a twist. So lift up and twist to get that right elbow to the left knee, and then bring it back to center. Up, twist, and back to center. We go another 5 and back. I mean, that was 6, so yes, 5 and back. Let's go for lift, twist, center, lift, twist, center. Last 2, twist, center, and 1, twist, center. Hold it, tap, 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 tap. Reciprocating movements of our scissors. We're going to go from the 10, 9, lift a little bit higher, 7, 6, 5, keep the tummy tight, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees to the chest and lower the shoulders down to the floor. From here on, we are going into our roll up, so extend the arms and the legs out to opposite sides of the room. Adjust yourself if you need to. Alright, from here on, you can reach your arms up above your head. We are slowly going to bring them up above the shoulders. And as they come forward, the head and the shoulders lift, pressing the backs of the legs into the floor as we roll up, come over into sitting. Now flex the feet for me. Sorry if you can see my feet. Flex the feet. And then we are going to reach our arms forward as our belly button reaches back. Come into that nice spine stretch. Now lower the upper body back down to the legs. And from here, we just want to think about that chest expansion we did previously. So pressing the chest forward, lifting the arms up, reaching forward and upwards. Fold back down into that forward fold. Then from here on, belly button draws backwards, rolling yourself down all the way to the floor. Circle the arms overhead if you've got the space to do it. And then come back up into sitting. Flex the feet for spine stretch. Get a nice stretch in the back of those legs. Forward fold over. Chest reaches forward as the thumbs come up towards the ceiling. Forward fold back down. And from there on, roll back down to the floor. Tuck the tail, bone by bone, pasting the spine down to the floor. You can circle your arms overhead if you wish to, and then just roll it back up into sitting, reaching into spine stretch. Sitting bones stay glued as the arms reach in opposition. Forward fold, chest expansion, thoracic extension. Bring it back down and roll it back. Heels reaching forward as the head and arms reach the opposite way. Last one, coming up into the sitting and then over into spine stretch. Last forward fold over here before we come into that extension of the thoracic spine. Bring it back down, and the last roll down to the floor. All right, we're going to come into the rest of our abs series. So we've done a variation of our scissors, and let's get into our single and double leg stretches. So we're going to do it without hands, no hands. So if you need to add your hands to your legs to make it a little bit easier, you can do so. Otherwise, no hands makes it a little bit harder. So either you can roll up, grab your right knee in towards your chest and lengthen the left leg out, and you can switch the hands from here, or you can keep the hands behind the head and we'll go for our double or our single leg stretch. So just reaching, imagine your one toe pulling a bowstring towards you and the other foot is the tip of the arrow, and we pull and pull for 8 and 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, lift a little bit higher, 2 and 1. Knees come in. Once again, you can either decide to use your arms, or you can decide hands stay behind the base of the skull and the legs do the work. So we've got another 8 to go. 7, inhale, bend, exhale, lengthen. We go 5, reach, 4, reach, 3 and 2, 1 more, and then bring it in and lower the feet down to the floor, arms to the sides on the mat next to you. You can adjust the space of your heels from your hips. Just be careful not to place your heel underneath your knee. So we want it to be just slightly ahead of the knee. And we're going to come into our shoulder bridge. So we've done quite a bit of work on the abdominals. So we want to keep the body balanced. So let's work the opposite side of the body. So from here on, I want you to just roll your pelvis backwards into that posterior tilt. And then slowly start lifting the spine away from the floor. Reach the arms back behind you overhead. I'm just going to bend mine in for my space. And then roll the spine back down to the floor with the bum relaxing completely at the end. Bring the arms back down to your sides as you roll up. And once you've reached your furthest point, take the arms back behind you. And then place the spine back down slowly to the floor. We're going to go for about 3 more, so lift as the arms lower. And lower the hips as the arms come overhead. Lift as the arms come down to the side. And lower as the arms come overhead. Now you don't have to bend your arms like I'm doing. Mine is just for a little bit of a space saver. So we've got about... Is there something else I can help with? Siri wants to join us. So we're going to go for another 3 of these. And down. 2. And down. Last one, hold it over here. Keep your hands down to your sides. We're going to go ahead and extend the right leg forward. Flex the foot, place it down. Now while we're doing this, we want to keep these hips nice and even. So if you feel your one hip dropping down, just go ahead and press deeper, a little bit deeper into the floor of the standing leg. So after this one, we've got 1 more to each side, and then the last one over here. All right, 1 more to the other side, and then we'll lower back down. Roll it down. Good, you're going to bring your knees into your chest. We're going to roll up and then make our way into kneeling, and we're going to start with a bit of a side series and with our side bends. Alright, so coming into kneeling, we want to make sure our knees are more or less hip width apart. We've got the pressure spread evenly between our ankle and our knee, so don't place all the pressure on the knees. I want you to feel the tibias or the shin bones just pressing down against the floor. And we're going to reach our arms up and just place them behind our head. We're going to just decrease the space between the rib cage and the pelvis, doing some oblique work to the side, and then reach it up and over. Yesterday I used the example of tipping out the kettle into the teacup and then bringing it back in, and then just tipping out the kettle over on the other side and then bring it back in. So we're going to go for another 5 and center. Keep the tummy nice and tight, so we still want to imagine keeping that connection between the chest and the pubic bone. You can also think about the spaces between the ribs and the pelvis being connected. So let's go for our last one to each side, over to the one side, bring it to center, and over the other way. Now, when you come up, I want you to do the same, except cartwheel into your side kneeling. We want to make sure the knees in line with the hip, and we're going to place the top hand underneath, not underneath, behind the back of the head. So the hand at the bottom, we've got our weight evenly spread through the palm of our hand, as well as the knuckles and the fingertips, just to take some tension away from the wrists. If this feels uncomfortable, you can always go ahead, fold your mat, and just keep your wrist higher than your fingers. All right, from here on, we're going to start with our leg lifts. So just bringing it up and then taking it back down. So we're going to do 10 of these and get it up as high as possible. We want to work into that hip joint, making it nice and strong, nice and stable. So let's go for our last 5. Open up the elbow at the top, just to keep the chest nice and broad. Let's go for our last 3 and 2, and hold this next one. Hold it up there. We're going to flex the leg and bend. So we want to think about doing a bit of a kick. You can also add some footwork by flexing the foot as you go back, and then point and reach. Let's go for another 5. Extend, bend, extend. Another 3. Lengthen. 2. Lengthen. Keep it up high. 1 more, and then place it down. Now step out into your side plank. You can reach your arm up. We're going to lower down to the floor, open the knees apart, and then zip it up from the ankles to the pubic bone and squeeze those inner thighs together. Let's take it down. Exhale, left. Inhale, down. Exhale, left. We're going to go for another 3 and press away with the feet. 2 and lift. We're going to go for our last one over here. Hold it for me, and then you're going to go ahead, twist your chest down to the floor, come into your plank, and then lower down on to your elbows. From there on, we want to suck the belly button in as we press the hips to the ceiling, and then bring it down to plank, bums aligned with the shoulders. Let's go again. Pressing those hips up and down and lift and down. We'll go for another 4, center plank, 3, bring it in, last 2, sucking up the belly, pressing the hips to the ceiling, and we'll go for our last 1. Bring it in, lower the knees to the floor, and if you need to take a second, just sit back into your child's pose. Right, we'll slowly roll it back up and then go ahead and proceed to the other side. So windmill over the other way, weight spread evenly throughout the palm, the knuckles and the fingertips. Hips are aligned, knee underneath the hip, and let's come into that lift and lower. Now my bum is extremely sore from yesterday's session, so we are practicing self-motivation and digging deeper into those muscles to get that leg lifting up nice and high. So we've got our last 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, and on this next one we hold it up here, we flex, we bend, we point, we straighten, we flex, we bend, point and lengthen. Another 8 and reach, 7 and reach, keep hanging in there, and lengthen, flex, bend, point, lengthen. 4 and reach, 3. Remember to keep the chest expanding, we don't want to collapse. Last 2 and 1. Now go ahead, place the foot down onto the floor, step into your side plank, and let's go for our 5 side planks, side bends. Lower down Exhale, squeeze the inner thighs together and lift. Open the knees apart and lower. Exhale, zip it up, come onto the top. And let's go for another 4 and up. 3 and press away with the feet. 2 and lift. 1 more and up. Now hold it up here. Come with both hands onto your mat and then lower down onto the elbows. We're going to come for a bit of a side mountain climber. They call it the Spider-Man in modern terms. So bum in line with the shoulders. Let's bring right knee to right elbow. Or actually, yeah, knee to shoulder. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go for another 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2, 1 more, and then lower the knees to the floor. Place your hands in front of you and press back into child's pose. From here on, we are going to come into all fours, right? And from the all fours position, you're going to lower down onto your elbows, and we are just going to have a few minutes to get into the glutes. So come down onto your elbows. Make sure your elbows are aligned with your shoulders and your knees with your hips. All right, we'll start with the right leg. Just extend it out to the back, and we are just going to do a simple lift and lower. So I want you to keep your hips square to the floor, meaning each little pointy part of the hip should be in line with the other. We want to work into this glute muscle, the largest part of the bum, to get that leg up. All right, so we're going to go for another 3 of these, 2 more, last one, hold. Now flex, bend the knee, point the toes and lengthen. We go another 5, reach, 4, keep the tummy nice and tight. Imagine that belly button pulling away from the floor. Let's go for our last 3, flex, 2, flex, 1, hold, 6 little pulses up, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, knee comes all the way in, big range of motion, extends and lifts, bends back in, extends and lifts. We're going to go for another 4, reach, lift, 3, reach, lift, 2, hold those hips nice and even, 1 more, and bring it in towards your chest as if you're slipping into your pigeon stretch. All right, hold it here for just a few seconds before we head on over to the other side. Alrighty, let's come up onto those hands if you need to. If you don't, that's fine. Press into plank, lower the knees to the floor, and then come down onto the elbows for the others. So let's reach that leg back and come into our lift and lower, keeping the hips square to the floor. So when you kick this leg up, be careful that the hip doesn't open out to the side. Keep it facing down. Squeeze that bum to lift that leg. Last 3, 2, 1, hold. And we're going to flex. Bring the heel to the hip and then point and reach. Flex, bend, point, reach. Flex, bend, point, reach. 2, I think it's actually 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up there. 6 little pulses. Pulse and pulse. 4, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Now bring it all the way in. Reach and lift. Bring it all the way in. Reach and lift. We go for another 2. No, 4. I nearly gave you a break. Let's go for 3. And reach, lift. 2. Reach, lift. 1. Bring the knee in as far to the chest as you can. Reach the other leg back.
and just adjust yourself into your pigeon stretch on the elbows. Okay, after this we're going to do our last plank variation, and then we'll just go into a short little cool down. So come back on to those arms. You are going to step all the way back into plank, and we'll get straight into our plank variation. So tucking the back foot, let's reach both legs back. From here on, we are going to press our hands forward, lift the hips to the ceiling, come into a bit of a downward dog. From there on, you're going to reach and hover your knees up away from the floor, and then press back into plank. Lift the hips, press away with the hands. Lower the knees to the floor into a hover, and then press back to plank. We're going to do 3 more of these. Do it nice and slow. Also just focusing on your breath, bringing your attention back to your breath. And then after this last one, we are just going to reverse it around. So into your down dog, into your hover, into your plank. Now let's reverse. So knees come down, bum goes up, into plank, and repeat. Knees come down, hips come up, into plank, and down, and triangle, and plank. 2 more, into down dog, into plank, into hover. Last one, hold in plank, and from there on, lower the knees to the floor. We're going to come into our threading the needle. So you can pick which arm goes first, slide it in underneath the gap between your hand and your thigh, and just take a rest. Take a few seconds and just enjoy the stretch. And then bring it back up and take it through to the other side. From there on, just bring it back up into all fours. We are going to come back to sitting like we started. So no fancy movements, just cross-legged or whichever way works for you. And I want you to just bring your attention back to your body. So we don't want to let the thoughts go elsewhere for the next minute or 2. We just want to focus on ourselves, reconnect our minds to our bodies before taking on either the chaos or whatever the day still has to bring. So you can just rest your hands on your knees, palms facing upwards. Draw those shoulders away from the ears. We did quite a bit of shoulder stability in the second part of the session. So you can just let those shoulders drop. And we are just going to circle the head from the right shoulder over to the left. And then just bring it back down and around. We're going to do just a few of these, just loosening up the neck. And keep looking with your eyes wherever you are going. Take note of your surroundings. And then bring it back to the center. All right. From there, let's just cross the right arm over the left arm and just look over the shoulder. Enjoy the stretch. Keep breathing, whichever way feels best for you. And then let's switch over to the other side. Hold the stretch. Focus on your breath. And then bring it back to center. You can just go ahead, whichever foot is at the top, that hip is going to stretch. So whichever one you feel like doing first, you can do that. And we are just going to walk our hands forward, nice flat back. And from there on, just sink down and feel the top leg. That same hip should be stretching. If you can go all the way down, that's fine.
and just release the hip bones apart. Imagine them just moving a little bit further from one another. So the two sitting bones just opening up. And just hold this for a breath or two before you slowly exhale and roll yourself back up. We're going to do exactly the same with the other hip. So other leg goes on top. Nice flat back, reaching up through the spine. Walk those hands forward, and then exhale, just lower back down as far as you feel comfortable to feel that stretch. And then just focus on letting those hip bones just open up, let the space widen between the two. And at the same time, just feeling the stretch in that hip joint where the femur joins the hip joint. And on the next exhale, slowly just allow yourself to roll back up. Get comfortable with your feet. And just deep breath in, as big as you need to. And then let it all out. Thank you for joining me in today's class. I hope you've enjoyed it. And you can always reach out to us. We are presenting our Zoom online classes. So if you feel the need to add a little bit of extra work into, or self-care into your weekly routine, then feel free to give us a shout out and we'll see how we can help. Have a body positive day.